is going on, Governors? Chisgule here, and today we're going to show you the map for the new KvK layout. Our Alliance member Negan hooked us up with the insight that this was available, and let's go check it out. All right, my friends, there's a ton to be excited about with the new layout for KvK. We're going to do a detailed breakdown. We're going to show you a map that one of our Alliance members, Kaley, put together, which is very helpful in starting to unpack everything that is going on in this new configuration. And I think there is a whole heck of a lot to be excited about. Now, if you like Rise of Kingdoms videos where we talk about Kingdom versus Kingdom, you should like and subscribe so you can get more content just like this and get ahead of your enemies. So, taking a look at the map, we need, in my opinion, to take a look from the outside, working our way in. And the first thing that you'll notice when we zoom way out and check out one of the edges of this map is that there's no more corner kingdoms. Every starting point has two neighbors. I like this a lot. I like this a lot because you can avoid a situation where it's a 2-on-1 battle. Let's go confirm that by looking at the passes that are here. We can see that this is a level 4 pass, which means it's going to be one of the first passes that's going to go and open. And the players all the way in this zone here would be dumping into this zone over here. The folks south of them have no way to get there. Not at the start. Not at the start. If we look over here, the folks north of this group, they also have a pass level 4. And if we scroll up a little further, there's no other group that can get into here. So it's two kingdoms, mano a mano, slugging it out over this spot, which I think is a good thing. I think this vastly improves your chances of advancing to the final zone, and quite frankly, if this is sort of fully in alignment with the notes that we saw Lilith had shared earlier, this should be a 4-on-4, so I would expect that every zone should be contentious. That would be my hope. That would be my hope. Now, there are some of the usual structures that we would have expected contained within the starting zone. That includes the Crusader camps, and those buffs look about the same. If we tap into the information, this looks pretty familiar to us in terms of what is here. Zooming out, of course, we can see there are camp sentinels, the same sort of stuff that we're used to. So the starting zones are configured a little bit differently and in a way such that the next zone is a 1-on-1 battle. Now, here is where we see the Herons, which is the sort of structures we would be expecting, although there sure are a heck of a lot of them all lined up in a row. Now, one thing you'll notice very rapidly is that the position of the ancient ruins has changed. Now, this, I think, is an A+++++ change, and I actually recommended this change long ago after KvK Season 1, that the problem with the ancient ruins today is that you flag your way up to them, you flag your way around them, and basically prevent any other kingdom from going for them because you can just teleport your cities into the action and they can't. It's GG. The kingdom that can teleport their cities in just wins. The kingdom that can't just loses. It is what it is. However, here, it looks like there's some possibility of either some amount of building you'll have to do to get to it, or, I mean, I don't know, can you build into this zone at all? I guess we'll see how exactly that will work. Although presumably you will be battling with one other kingdom. From Zone 5 to get into a Ruins level 5. Or I guess, I don't know, it's not Ruins level 5, but an Ancient Ruins, right? That is my expectation. I love the one-on-one battles for things. It just feels more fair, especially if what you're going to do is put kingdoms together that are of equal power. So as you advance further and further along, it looks like we do have another level 5 pass over here. So it looks like choices might have to be made in kind of what's contended, or you could double down on one or go for both, which I think is kind of exciting. And each of these zones has access to 4, count them, 4 of these ancient ruins. So as you proceed further and further in toward the ziggurat, there are more of these ruins. This is an altar of darkness, and this is a level, I believe, 7 pass to get to this. The level 6 passes take you into this middle zone over here. Now, what's worth mentioning is that you see here we've got these spaces in the Lost Kingdom. My expectation is that we're going to have some barbarian events that take place in these areas, and so it's really cool that the new Lost Kingdom has those. If we just jump back to our current Lost Kingdom and get a look around the map, I don't think we're going to find anything like that. I could be wrong. Are there map? Oh, there are. Okay, there are some of these here too. All right. They're in the new map. They're in the old map. They're in both places. Let's go back to the Great Ziggurat here and get a look a little bit further into the zone. So at some point, there's going to be space for 8 alliances to hold passes. Potentially, there could be many kingdoms that have sort of worked together and funneled their way in to have some sort of a battle at the Great Ziggurat. Now, what I find fascinating here is that the space below it is dead space. The space north of this is dead space, which means you're going to have a pretty intense fight for territory, basically flagging your way over from the left or from the right or from above and below, but not directly above and below, because this whole area here is blocked off, which is pretty interesting. Now, if we step way back for a second, there is a connection that I think is fascinating, which is that these kingdoms on the edges are actually all connected to each other. There are passes here, and there are passes here, I believe. Maybe not. Okay, maybe not. It's just some of the edges that are connected to each other, which is interesting. There they are again. So what I find interesting about this is that this is a level 9 pass. So it does look like we probably still are invading some of the starting areas here, but we're doing that in a way that is maybe a little bit different than we're used to in the past. If your neighbors, both of them, are enemy kingdoms, that means that you battle your way into their starting zone from your starting zone. That also means that a kingdom could make a strategic retreat and then battle into your starting zone. I don't know exactly how this works, but these level 9 passes are very intriguing to me. They're very intriguing to me. I wonder if there will be incentive to stay and hold your Crusader fort. I'm really not sure what that would be at this moment in time. In my opinion, there really should be some rewards for that, but I guess we'll see. If we take a look all the way in your Lost Temple in your kingdom, that's right, we're talking about the Lost Temple. We got to go all the way back to our mini, which is in Kingdom 75. You actually can see there is a record of who has taken your Crusader fort or which Crusader forts you have taken, which is like sort of interesting, but like, I don't know, like I don't care all that much about that sort of history, but let me show you just what that looks like real quick, because my inclination is that they wouldn't have put something like this in the game if they didn't expect to continue to have a world in which you're taking over other Crusader forts. So if we look here at the Kingdom Honor portion, we can see here your kingdom's victories, and I don't know why they had to throw the word humiliating into there for the defeats. It shows when you were occupied and which kingdoms you annexed, I suppose, captured, which is an interesting feature. So it looks like in, the one KvK, there was a Crusader Fort exchange, and perhaps in the next, there was not. Awkward. So that is a quick look at the map. Now, I promised I would show you a map that an Alliance member had put together. Let me flash that up onto the screen for you real quick because I thought it was pretty helpful in kind of summarizing everything that we were just looking at. So let's get that up onto the screen. Now, when we look at this map, we're now looking at a color-coded version of all of the passes that are available and the sequence in which those things will happen. So the level 4 passes happen first, then level 5, level 6, and so on, we assume. It also shows you which kingdoms can be in contention for the zone and which zones can then go and access, or which kingdoms can go and access each of those areas. So if you look at the very top portion of the map, it's the kingdoms in 1 and 2 that will have access to that zone 5. 3, 4, 7, and 8 can all access that zone by making their way, it looks like, through the ancient ruins. We assume, by the way, that those passes don't enter into a semi-protected state. Let me explain that for a second. The semi-protected state is one in which you can make your way out, but other people can't make their way in. That's the way Pass 4 works at the start of KvK. You can battle your way out, but they can't enter into and invade your starting zone out of the gates. That happens much later on. So we don't know if any of these passes will become semi-protected or what that could look like later. But hopefully this map is helpful to you. And thank you again to my Alliance member Kaley, who put this map together, and Negan for turning me on to the fact that this zone exists and is a thing, and you can go get a look at it right now. We'll close out the map we were just looking at, and what we can do is just show you the coordinates again in the top of the screen so you can go check those out. Okay, so the coordinates you would plug in to go check this out yourself are kingdom number 137, X coordinate 584, and Y coordinate 644. My friends, I hope you've enjoyed this video as we learn more about how the next KvK will work. We'll share it with you, so please do like and subscribe if you'd like to know the latest and greatest as soon as it becomes available. And until next time, you have fun smashing the kingdom.